Hey guys, Deathslayer Magic here, and it's time for a mountain of spoilers. Seriously, we got a lot of them to go through today, so let's burn through them. First, we got Basilica Belle Haunt. It's a double white, double black, so basically Guild Mage from Orzhov, and it's a 3/4, and when it enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card and you gain 3 life. Ooh, that would be annoying if it wasn't 4. I mean, it's still annoying, but any discard effect that's later than turn 3 guaranteed, significantly worse than a turn 1. But then again, I mean, if they even had 1 card in hand at that point, it's probably not a land, and it's probably something they needed, and you just gain 3 life and, well, shut down whatever they were going to do late game. So it could be good, it's just not as good as like a turn 1 duress. That limitation on mana is rough. I mean, you might bring this out turn 8, 9, 10, and at that point, do they even have anything in their hand? And this is only a 3/4 that doesn't really do anything after it comes out. But it is a spirit subtype, so you never know. People could drop this into something just for that. Next up, we got a Spanish card, Brahmi Toad del Carnarium. I don't think in English we really have a word for carnarium. I mean, I'm no cultural expert, but like it literally means place where meat is stored, so okay. By the way, Brahmi Toad means like a low yell. If I remember correctly, I'm too lazy to check. So this is a 3-cost sorcery, or conjuro. And all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn because we needed another one of those. And exile all creature cards from all graveyards that were put there this turn. Ouch! If a creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So everything that dies from this goes to exile instead of the graveyard, and anything that died before this turn, or that dies after this turn, will go to exile. That is pretty nuts. Well, it'll take out a line of reassembling skeletons, but the only person who runs a deck like that is me, as far as I know. Won't stop Squee, and it won't stop Rekindling Phoenix, so, I mean, how good is it really? Still, it's a -2 sweeper for 3, so, like, how good is it? It's pretty damn good. I mean, Saprolings, rest in peace, you're gone. Not that anybody's still playing that deck. So a sweeper with exile, I mean, there's so much recursion, there's so much stupid stuff that just keeps coming back or somebody resurrects it later. I'm glad we have something like this just to kind of even it out a little bit. I think this will be an absolutely ridiculously huge sideboard card, just in case somebody's running anything. Flood, tokens, mono white, some merfolk, vampires, I mean, saprolings, you name it, this stops it unless it's kind of big. The best thing is it's mono colored. That is going to go far. Next up, Bulrak Clan Crusher. Oh boy, another Gruul dude. It's a 4/4 for 5, and you can tap it and remove a 1/1 counter from a creature you control. Bulrak Clan Crusher deals 2 damage to any target. Now, he obviously can't swing that turn unless it's already your second main phase and they had Vigilance. Good luck with that. So you do lose something from it, but it's kind of like unreliable removal. So it's just kind of another version of that Goblin Flinger card thing that's in standard right now. Honestly, you run red heavy goblins and then mix in like just this guy, and you might actually have something with just, hey, I can take apart whatever I want. And it can even do 2 damage to a planeswalker. So, you know, good luck stopping this. There's no, like, disallow effect in standard right now, as far as I know. Actually, I feel like there's one and I'm forgetting it. So there's either 0 or 1. Next up, hey, another Spanish card, unless it's Portuguese and I just didn't notice. I don't know, it's too damn blurry because whoever took this picture is an idiot. So we've got Canonize on the left, and I believe that's Consume on the right. So Canonize is exile a targeted card from a cemetery. Nice, I like that way better. And draw a card. By the way, if I'm not mistaken, Roba, doesn't that mean rob? It means like steal a card? I need to play Spanish Magic. Spanish Magic sounds way tougher. So, I mean, you remove something from a graveyard and draw a card. That's cool. I mean, it costs 2, it's instant, whatever. You could get rid of a jumpstart card or something that keeps coming back like Phoenix. I mean, they're really, like, oppressing Izzet with this next set. Like, this is like, what, the 4th card that just shuts down jumpstart? That is nice. I'm getting real sick of Izzet Drakes and all their stupid recurring card draw. It is really annoying. And the Teferi Izzet hybrid deck, that thing could just go burn in hell. So on the right, we've got Consume, and I'm getting sick of translating these and then translating these to the English version, so let's just have fun and read it exactly as it's written. The player targeted sacrifices a creature with the highest force between the creatures that they control. They gain a quantity of life equal to its force. I think I had some pronoun confusion there. So the target player would sacrifice whatever creature they have with the greatest power, just among creatures they control, not on the board, and then you, as the player, gain life equal to that creature's power, not them. Yes, it's 2-colored, yes, it's 4, yes, it's sorcery speed. Who cares? That is crazy good. Usually when you just take like 3 or 4 black mana, shove it in somebody's face and say, hey, sacrifice something, they're just going to choose some piddly little piece of crap. This is the highest power. So if you're trying to, not lose the game based on life total, getting rid of the creature with the highest power is probably a good way to do it. There are situations like a Danto Vanguard where it wouldn't really work, but other than those weird situations, this is going to get you pretty damn far. The funny thing is if you can cast this twice, boom, nuke it out of their graveyard too. Still got that left side. I mean, the left side's not great, but if you just want to like cast it and who cares, target a Evolving Wilds or something, and then just draw a card to replace it, you could get a card that you actually need if neither one of those are relevant to the current situation. It also works with Kaya a little bit, so that's cool. By the way, everybody's saying those 2 planeswalkers are, they're disappointing, they're weak. They cost 3, that's the point. You don't like buy $18 shoes and say, these aren't very high quality. What'd you expect? You know damn well what you paid for it, okay? You get what you pay for. You can't have something amazing for not a lot of payment. That wouldn't even be fair. Do you know how much people would be losing their minds if like Kaya was like, exile any permanent on the field at all. Doesn't even have to be a non-land. And she costs 3. It would be a $100 card and people would be leaving to go play Pokemon. So yes, they're kind of weak. That's the point. People hate overpowered planeswalkers. They should just be kind of low power, interesting, not instantly game ruining, especially for 3 mana, but in general. And next up, bien, we have one in Portuguese, which is kind of like Spanish, except needlessly difficult. Seriously, Brazil, just switch to Spanish. Everybody thinks you speak Spanish anyway. Just why? What is the point of Portuguese? So we've got Carnival or Carnage, according to the translation that isn't mine, because I'm not even going to try with Portuguese because it's almost like it's purposely misleading. We've got for 1 red-black hybrid, an instant that says it deals 1 damage to target creature or planeswalker and 1 damage to its controller. So, I mean, it's just annoying, whatever, but there's another side of it and it only costs 4. So, and the other side, sorcery, kind of a bit of a pattern here. So, I mean, nothing too special with Carnival, but I think this is more like instead of, okay, the left side is your bread and butter, and then the right side is the long shot, like it was with Guilds of Ravnica. This is like, okay, you really actually want to do the right side, but the left side is just, whatever, if you want. I mean, it's not like you wouldn't want to, like, ping a Planeswalker for 1, and Rackdos does damage. It is what it is. But Carnage deals 3 damage to target opponent. That player discards 2 cards. Like, that ain't playing, okay? That is Mind Rot on steroids. This would be so annoying because they're trying to stop the bleeding, stop the damage immediately because they're playing against Rackdos, and every time Rackdos farts, you take 2 damage. Probably because they lit said fart on fire. You have to stop it and now, 3 extra damage and also get rid of 2 of your cards. Screw you. Oh, this card is going to be annoying. I'd say, it's good and I respect it. No, it's annoying and I hate it. Next up, another split card. Oh, God, what language is this one in? Oh, English. Great. I hate English. So on the left, we got Depose. You can tap target creature, draw a card. Okay. It's, pretty classic blue-white, pretty classic Azorius. It's cantrip, except it costs 2 instead of, 1 or 0. Whatever, you can live with it. But Deploy! 4 cost, not sorcery, instant, interesting. Create 2 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Oh, I get it, because Dovin Bond took over Azorius or something, or... I don't know if he's a guild leader, who knows, who cares, but he's like, Thopters, everybody, Thopters are the greatest things since sliced bread, and they're all like, yeah, Thopters. So yeah, you create 2 Thopters, and then you gain 1 life for each creature you control. So, I mean, a Thopter Swarm deck, that would be huge, and that's what his Planeswalker does, so this just absolutely goes with Dovin Bond. I'm actually starting to wonder if that, Ensel artifact and creature form guy will become, popular, and a couple others, like the couple that still spit out Thopters. I mean, we did just lose Kaladesh, obviously, the whole block. But, Azorius Flood with control. I mean, if somebody's like, I'm going to -2 sweep the field, I'm going to Goblin Chain Whirler, you got a mountain of counterspells. And we're not counterspelling or bringing out, swarms of Thopters or just whatever you want. I mean, it could even be white vampires. Probably won't be that hard to do. Maybe even add Orzhov to it, get some spirit tokens going. That'd be kind of neat. You could be getting things out of the way so you could swing. I mean, it's a control color, so I think Azorius might be better than its really crappy, inconsistent mechanic lets on. So anyway, I've been looking for a gain 1 life for every creature you control effect for a while now, and it would work crazy good with Resplendent Angel. So watch for that to go up just because of this card if that deck takes off. You never know. Next up, Endray's Forerunners. Oh, good, it's an 8 cost, and that is not Archetype of Endurance. It actually looks just like it. It's a creature, it's a boar, it's a 7/7, and it makes julienne fries. It has Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. Why does this font look so weird on this card? Is it just me? Is Has anybody else seen this? This almost looks like a fake. That's kind of weird. But yeah, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste ain't no joke. You drop it in and just, hey, 7 coming at you, and then they can smash it into a Carnage Tyrant and die. So that's awesome. But when it enters battlefield, other creatures you control get +2/+2 and gain Vigilance and Trample until end of turn. So you just drop this in, swing, and win. The problem is, if you're running like Llanowar Elves, you probably tapped them. It depends. You can play a land dumper deck. I mean, I know we don't have landfall right now, but some Simic cards do that. There's an existing card that costs 1 green that dumps out double land. So, you know, with Explorer, you could probably get it going. I think this actually will probably be a pretty popular card, but maybe not in like a tier 1 deck. Because right now, even, you know, mono green, let's just ramp and run you over. It would benefit from this heavily. It already has Carnage Tyrant. It already has that Killer Mammoth. I mean, this just slots right in. The problem is that deck's not very good, but I have seen versions of it that run a mountain of hexproof creatures. Like, if it's hexproof, it's in there. That green horse is in there. That thing's annoying as hell. It's a frickin' 5/3. So maybe, I mean, if you're looking for a basic deck, I don't think this thing will be terrifically expensive just because, you know, it costs 8. Like, how many decks could it really go into? This is probably not a terrible one to do because, you know, not counting Ghalta and Carnage Tyrant because those are crazy expensive, it's a really cheap deck. It's always a cheap archetype. It just keeps coming back over and over and over. Classic green ramp, you might want to build it. Next up, we got Growth Chamber Guardian. Ooh, nice claws there, Mr. Krabs. So this is an Elf Crab Warrior, because of course it is. I mean, seriously, Simic is going to get shredded, just obliterated by Selective Snare. Everything in their stupid guild has like 3 subtypes. Oh, you think you're real clever with your Dryad Unicorn Squirrel, but guess what? Oh, I just nuked your entire line. So this is a 2/2 for 2, and it has pay 3, adapt 2. If this creature has no 1/1 counters on it, put 2 1/1 counters on it, which of course, for a combined, you know, split turn mana of 5 would make it a 4/4. So it's like good on turn 2 and better later game, which is pretty solid. I mean, it is a rare too, but also whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on Growth Chamber Guardian, you may search your library for a card named Growth Chamber Guardian, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle your library. Now, historically, stuff like this, like Self-Replicator and that stupid pirate thing or vampire that nobody plays, not real popular, but I mean, it's like an automatic draw. The problem is you're just setting yourself up to get nuked by that guy, the detention dude from Azorius, because they all share a name, but that's really narrow. Like, the deck that would run this is probably kind of narrow, and the deck that would run him is, well, we don't even know what anybody's going to be playing, so, you know, it might not be the end of the world. But I mean, if you've got mana coming out your ears, you can just automatically just go get it, shuffle, and you've got creatures every single turn to drop, and if you got spare mana later, make them all 4/4s. It's a slow strategy, but I mean, if you even made one of them a 4/4 early enough, you might stop the early game blitz just in its tracks. Or more like mid-game blitz with this. And remember, Simic already has a card that says other cards may use an adaptability as if they didn't have counters. So you could just pay 3, pay 3, pay 3, pay 3. That would be bad. So this bro could get pretty damn expensive if Simic takes off. He would be one of the first ones I would expect to go $5+. Next up, Alerta Maxima. I put the accent on the wrong A. That translates to Maximum Alert, which is probably just like, I don't know, High Alert, I think is what Mythic Spoiler said. I think it'll be Maximum Alert. That just sounds cool, although we like never use the word maximum in English for some reason. All right, if I'm reading this correctly, I hate this card already. I've always hated it. This is like the 4th version of it that I know of personally. Assault Formation was absolute AIDS. Every creature that you control assigns a count of damage of combat equal to its resistance instead of its force. So, toughness instead of power. I bet even if you don't speak Spanish, you know exactly what the next paragraph is. Creatures that have Defender may attack as though they didn't have Defender. Surprise, surprise. Oh, the bottom ability, you can pay 4 with, of course, mixed Azorius colors in there to straighten target creature. Dude, why do we even use the English versions? I like the Spanish translations way better. Force, resistance, and straighten. By the way, in the last couple sets, I heard a bunch of rumors online that a whole bunch of like French and German translations and stuff were like way wrong, like grammatically incorrect. I thought there was like missing letters, spelling errors and stuff, but of course I can't confirm them. I don't speak either of those languages, but people were posting examples and I couldn't verify if they were real or true or if they're just trolling. But if you thought there was a lot of typos in the last 2 years on Magic cards in English, I've heard that even in the last like 20 years, they've been terrible on foreign language cards. Just horrible. Anyway, untapped target creature is cool. I mean, you can swing and then kind of get it back. It's like a 4-cost after the fact surprise vigilance. It's not that big of a surprise. I don't know. It's kind of cool. You can do some weird stuff with it. You can actually probably cause all kinds of infinite loops in Modern with this, but 4 is a little high. The problem with this card is, okay, I'm going to run all walls and defender creatures and then this. Okay, cool. Somebody counterspells it. Now what? Maybe you could counter their counter, but I mean, this already costs 3. Like, if you're going to sit on a Sinister, you better have 6 mana. What if they have a flyer? Not a lot of reach walls out there. So, like, this effect is crazy, but it's just like Assault Formation. If you lose Assault Formation, you're screwed. You always were back when, what was that, Theros or something? Or, no, that was definitely Tarkir. Only Tarkir would have that level of degeneracy. So yeah, if something happens to this, cool, you're just going to sit there and stall out the game with a bunch of walls. So what people realistically will do with this is not just an all-in defender wall scry draw deck where this is like the win con. They'll probably run this, a bunch of defenders, and then instead of like, I don't know, just obnoxious bounce back to hand, and I mean, they'll probably still have Settle the Wreckage, but like less, they can just throw up a bunch of, 0/5s or whatever. Cool. And then when they drop this, win con, but also milling you out the whole time, as like a backup strategy. And then just some control and counter spells and stuff to keep things, civil. Gotta protect your stupid shaky win condition. The deck would be garbage, but like it's good enough and annoying enough that some people would be attracted to it, usually really immature, obnoxious players. So in other words, already mill players, so I don't like this because of that. And I do suspect that untap ability at the end there is because we're gonna get something that taps and mills. So this'll be fun. So next up, we've got the biggest mistake in the entire set so far. This card is going to have to be banned in all likelihood. Thanks, Wizards. It's Pestilent Spirit. It's a 3/2 spirit for 3 single black, double generic, so anybody can put this in anything vaguely black, probably Rackdos, you'll see why. And it has Menace and Death Touch and 3 attack. And if you mix it with Rackdos, you're probably going to drop a Sure Strike on it. That would be fun. So this thing is already both artwork-wise and stylistically complete and utter Ebola. But also, instant and sorcery spells you control have Death Touch. Any amount of damage they deal to a creature is enough to destroy it. I love how they had to put the reminder text because, well, I'm pretty sure like the actual definition of Death Touch only applies to creatures dealing damage. Maybe not. I don't know. Who cares? I mean, everybody knows what they mean by this, so whatever. I mean, Fate Reforged, your spell's gonna have lifelink now, apparently. So, okay, that stupid dinosaur priest thing that from the Polyraptor cloner, that wouldn't work, not an instant or sorcery spell. Plague Mare, not only is it a creature, but that's a sweeper, that's a -1/-1. So it won't work with the new -2 sweeper either, because that's a sweeper, not a mass damage. Let's see, doesn't work with Chain Whirler at all, because that's not an instant or sorcery. So what people are actually playing, and potentially playing, as like the best sweepers, it doesn't really work with, but let's go to what it does work with. Well, thank God Blazing Volley cycled out, because that's just 1 damage for 1 red to all of just your opponent's creatures, turning a couple flaming arrows into hellfire missiles raining down from the sky like World War III. That was Amon Ket too. We really dodged a bullet on that one. But we do have dual shot. 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. Oh, fun. So for 1 mana at instant speed, you could take out, Belzenlock and Doom Whisperer. That's fair. Oh, this is ridiculous. You could take down 2 Elder Dragons with 1 mana. I mean, this is just beyond stupid. It is so stupidly overpowered, and even if it doesn't become a problem immediately with 6 sets legal, we got 2 more sets before rotation, and they're gonna have red spells in them that deal damage. Probably to multiple things. Then we got a card that people actually are already playing right now. It's actually pretty good. It's a 3-cost single red, instant speed, fiery cannonade. It deals 2 damage to each non-pirate creature, which now would be just utterly lethal. So red-black pirates could come back with literally just that, dual shot, pestilent, and maybe like a, I don't know, red dinosaur, Needletooth. That would be fun. It doesn't scream tier 1, but it would be really annoying. I mean, there are better anti-creature decks, probably just like green-black right now, but you throw a Chupacabra in there, you throw Angrath in there, I mean, you can get some stuff going. Like, Rakdos is already damn powerful, now we got Pestilent Spirit and a bunch of red crap. So, like, yeah, it's a 2-card combo, but that's the thing. If you don't get the combo off, who cares? You still got Fiery Cannonade, and you still got a 3/2 Menace Death Toucher. And the best thing is, I'm going to take a wild guess that's an Orzhov card, not even a Rakdos card. But yeah, this will go in a Rackdos deck. I mean, like I said, it could turn out to be nothing because there are very limited instants and sorceries that hit multiple targets, but it's only going to get worse over time. And with the ridiculous power of this card, oh, I don't know. I am very worried that this is very likely to become a ban-worthy card. I said ban-worthy, not banned, because this is Wizards of the Coast we're talking about. They could probably have a Goblin Chain Whirler jump out from under Mark Rosewater's desk, slap him in the face with the chain, and say something anti-Semitic, and they still wouldn't ban him. Now, if Goblin Chain Whirler went on Facebook and posted Pepe memes, oh, that's it. He's gone. Cut him off. But, I mean, then again, last time I checked, he's not white. He is red. Anyway, let's move on from this disaster. I mean, I've seen more broken cards. It's not even on the same planet as Scarab God. It's just very overpowered. So next up we got Pitiless Pontiff. Oh, she has no pity on thou. It's a 2-cost Vampire Cleric 2/2, so hey, Vampire's getting some love, that's cool. Early game, real good. You pay 1 any color, sacrifice another creature, and then she gains Death Touch and Indestructible till end of turn. That's just good. That is just plain good. It's not even overpowered or unfair. It's just damn good. It's just, okay, it might get a little tedious. We already have a Danto Vanguard, which can just, nuke 4 of your life, which, okay, that's not nothing, and become indestructible, and it's a 3/1 Wrecking Ball. And then you got this where, okay, you got to sacrifice another creature. I mean, that's almost on par with losing 4 life. Like, these are very significant costs, but, I mean, Death Touch and Indestructible. Like, she could take out anything. She could prevent anything from swinging. You mix her with the black 1/1 Death Toucher, and they aren't going to be able to come at you except in the air, which, like I said, air is looking pretty big for a lot of different guilds right now. Hey, maybe that's the point. The ground got so damn toxic with stuff like this, they had to, lift it a little bit. Oh, remember, we got black-white spirits, and black-white-blue looks like a pretty good combination already, and then white-blue spirits with favorable winds. Ooh, I don't know. And Zorius really likes Token Flood. I'm just saying, we might have a little something there. Never know, though. See how it comes together. So overall, I mean, it would have been nicer if it was lifelink and indestructible, but I guess Death Touch is more of an attack deterrent instead of just, I'm going to throw it in the way. Oh, it didn't die. So this thing being boosted would be like, okay, but yeah, I think people run like maybe 1 or 2 in a vampire deck. At least it's not legendary, nor should it be. So next up, we've got some kind of camera snapshot that actually looks somewhat legible. Whatever. How hard is it to get the digital version? Doesn't anybody who gets a card to spoil get the digital one along with it? Anyway, Precognitive Perception. It's a 5-cost instant, draw 3 cards, addendum if you cast this spell during your main phase instead, scry 3, then draw 3. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, you really would want to do this during your opponent's end step, so addendum actually makes sense on this. And you would have a shot with addendum at up to 6 cards. So chances are you're probably going to draw what you need. Actually, well, let me think. If you got 40 cards left in the deck, you'd have a 1 in 10 out of 4 of left. So actually the odds are still not in your favor. So if you're searching for like Teferi, I mean, it'll move some cards out of the way though. So, I mean, this is powerful. 3 for 5 is pretty damn good. Instant speed, pretty damn good. And then addendum, if you think you can get away with it, great. So, a pretty fun card, honestly. The problem is it's just going to go into Teferi and Izzet decks. So, like, once again, I don't have a problem with this card. I have a problem with what people are going to put it in. It's almost like they should have taken this control loop, draw out of control bullshit out of standard. Call me crazy. I'm convinced that Wizards has just misplaced the ban hammer. They can't find it. They would have loved to ban Teferi, Nexus, Chain Whirler. Oh, I could go on, but they literally lost the ban hammer. They can't find it. Next up, we got a Civic Mythic, or as I like to call it, a Smithic. We've got Prime Speaker Vanifar. She got the pimp robe. She's rocking the Adventures of Superman haircut there. Got some Lois Lane going on. And it looks like she stole a prop from Aquaman. So, legendary creature, Elf Ooze Wizard. Can't make that one up. And she's a 2/4 for 4. Sacrifice another creature. Search card for a creature card with the converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrifice creature's converted mana cost. So this is just another one of those, I'm going to slightly improve its sacrifice things. Pretty big in Modern and a little bit in Commander. And then put that card onto the battlefield, shuffle your library, activate this only time you would cast a sorcery. Yeah, middle of combat after blocking would be a little bit much. I'm glad they did that. So, I mean, upgrade is the name of the game with Simic. I honestly don't think this is, like, that great of an ability, but it depends what you're fetching. And that's the thing. That's when you go to the Modern pool, you're like, I'm going to get, like, I'm ditching a 1 cost to go get a 2 cost, and guess which one out of, like, the last 10 years of Magic or whatever. In Standard, I don't know. And anything with X or whatever, you're dropping it onto the battlefield, not casting it. But I assume there's a way to kind of cascade this a little bit, and she's, you know, a 2/4 blocker in the meantime. I think she comes out a little bit late for 4, but at least you don't have to pay for the ability. That's actually the key, is that you don't have to pay for it. So if you just want to keep improving, you're going to keep nuking your creatures. It doesn't really work with counters unless you get an on-death counter effect, which we probably will see that. Other than that, it's basically a free upgrade all the way up the ramp no matter what your mana situation is. As long as you got to 4 and you got her out and they didn't kill her, and you have something else, which is a lot of ands, you can really do some damage with this, but it's pretty slow. It's very gradual. I mean, there's a couple effects that could artificially untap her, which would be hilarious. I don't know. I feel like any deck that would actually reasonably run her might be like a gimmick deck that just runs her, and that's what the deck does. There's almost more cards that this doesn't work with than that it does work with. So, I don't know. We'll see. It could be a complete just bomb out who cares dollar mythic, or it could be like the greatest deck ever because, you know, free upgrades. What are you going to do? Your creatures are coming out better and better and better, and you didn't have to pay a single mana for it. I mean, that's not nothing. It's just we'll have to see what the deck actually looks like. Next up, Rackdos. There's actually a guy named Rackdos. I actually did not know that. So, Rackdos, the showstopper. I've been guessing, oh, that's probably the guild leader, and I'm just too lazy to look up who any of the guild leaders are. And, I mean, they change. We don't know. We've been away from Ravnica for a couple of years. On this one, though, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's probably the guild leader. Probably. Watch, it's like Judith and this guy's retired. I don't know. Who cares? So anyway, it's a legendary creature demon 6/6 for 6, flying trample, because of course every demon that's flying has to have trample these days. And when Rackdos the showstopper enters the battlefield, flip a coin, really. For each creature that isn't a demon, devil, or imp, destroy each creature whose coin comes up tails. Any judges or rules lawyers out there take issue with the way they phrased that last statement? Clearly just because the actual text wouldn't have fit? Oh, it just screams 20 years ago, not Oracle text. That's implying ownership of the coin to the creature. That's so vague. Anyway, nobody in the right mind would reinterpret that, but yeah, I guess you've got a 50-50 of, blowing anything up. That's cool. I mean, unreliable cards could be, like, fun. I think people will run this in, Commander and stuff, probably as the Commander. But, like, it affects your own stuff, and who's gonna do a Demon, Devil, Imp tribal? Like, that's just odd. I mean, who knows? It could be a thing, but I mean, he gets some competition out of the way, but what if they have, like, one flyer that's going to be a problem, like an angel, and then you flip heads on it? Oh, well, whoops. I mean, I'd rather be directly in control, and if I'm already playing Rackdos, I just nuke it with, like, a lava coil or something. I don't know. Actually, probably Vraska's Contempt if it's big enough to be a threat to a 6/6 flyer. Well, whatever. A 1-cost red spell is going to take him down anyway, because that's the only deck anybody will be running, so, I don't know. I don't think he's, like, that great, but people just don't like unreliable cards. I don't think this is going to be $10+. It just doesn't seem like it. Well, except for outside of standard. That's always my blind spot, so who knows. Next up, the Gruul Pac-Man himself, Ravger Worm. So we've got a 4/5 for 5 with strangely double green single red. That's kind of arbitrary. It has Riot. This creature enters the battlefield with your choice of a 1/1 counter or haste. That's kind of cool. I mean, 5/6 is pretty damn good, and then 4/5 coming at you without any warning is pretty damn good too. And when it enters the battlefield, choose up to 1. Ravger Worm fights target creature you don't control. Hello, good way to get rid of flyers. That is very accurate artwork. Or destroy target land with an activated ability that isn't a mana ability. Oh, there goes my memorial to literally anything. Well, those are some fun options. I mean, the first one is what you'd choose 99% of the time, but if somebody's got a detection tower, goodbye. Next up, ooh, the Orzhov Mythic. Here we go. Seraph of the Scales. This is an amazing 4/3 flying angel for 4. And in the eternal poetic words of the famous philosopher Stinkmeaner from Boondocks, Lady Liberty's got balls. Because if you pay 1 white, she gains vigilance until end of turn, and if you pay 1 black, she gains death touch until end of turn. Also, afterlife too. When this creature dies, create 2 1/1 white and black spirit creature tokens with flying. So, all out air assault in Orzhov. Like I said, somebody might splash or just go full blown 33% each. Blue, white, black, angel, spirit mix. Who knows? I mean, it could just be token dump, could be flyers, could be token flood with Thopters. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 different decks already that we can see by those 2 guilds teaming up. Well, this is just a damn good card. I mean, 4 damage in the air for 4 mana, that ain't no joke. And then on top of it, you can just give it death touch whenever you want. Nobody's going to block it as long as you got one black open. And then Vigilance, now she's on defense, and you can still activate the Death Touch. Ooh, this card's pretty tasty. I think if anybody's running Orzhov, they're almost going to have to be running this. Next up, we've got a mythic from, I don't know, probably Gruul, Scargon Hellkite. It is mono red, though. It's a 4/4 for 5. It's a dragon. Yes, that's how you pronounce it. Piss off. I mean, you can see right there on the card, it's spelled DRAAYG''N. Dragon. So does Riot. This creature enters the battlefield with the counter that it should have had in the first place because a 5/5 flyer for 5 is actually pretty average. Or haste. Obviously flying there, and you can pay 4, and it deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. So planeswalkers, players, nice. Activate this ability only if it has a 1/1 counter on it. Yeah, that'll tip the scales a little bit. Interesting card. I mean, will Gruul and Simic team up? Maybe. They both do stuff with counters. You got Riot, and then you got the whole counter dump thing, but I'm not sure how much crossover there will honestly be. This just seems like, a good, solid, typical red flying mythic. Next up, Spawn of Mayhem, or as everybody's just going to call it, Predator from Alien vs. Predator. Like, seriously, it's him. So this is a 4/4 mythic but not legendary demon, costs 4, and it has Spectacle 3. You may cast this spell for its Spectacle cost rather than its mana cost if an opponent lost life this turn. Flying Trample, because of course, and at the beginning of your upkeep, Spawn of Mayhem deals 1 damage to each player. Then if you have 10 or less life, put a +1/+1 counter on Spawn of Mayhem. Oh, that's dangerous. So he damages an opponent and he damages you. He won't hit a planeswalker because it doesn't work that way. And then if you personally have 10 or less life, you're just going to start piling the counters on him. It would be okay, but it's dangerous. I mean, somebody could just Banefire you instantly, ignore this thing, and you lose the game. That's why I really don't like that stupid flippy vampire thing where you pay a bunch of life and draw a card or whatever. Oh, then if you're below 5, who cares? You just got Banefired and lost. I mean, Gruul can drop in like a 5 damage creature and then just, it has Riot, I'll give it haste. Boom, you're dead. Not a lot of response time in the standard meta. I don't like this at all. I don't think anybody's going to play this card. Then again, Rackdos super quick burn. Maybe. I could be wrong. Next up, we got Teysa Karlov, or as her friends call her, Tater Tots. She's a 2/4 for 4 legendary creature. I'm starting to see a pattern here, and a human advisor. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. That is weirdly worded and strangely specific. Creature tokens you control have vigilance and lifelink. Okay, that's huge. Yeah, if you got that 3/2 horse dude out where every time something dies you take 1 damage and draw a card, you're just going to die. I mean, okay, cool, like your creature tokens now have vigilance and lifelink, but this seems a little dangerous, at least in that exact particular circumstance. If you get Horsey Dude out, this thing, and like 3 tokens out, they're just going to drop a Fiery Cannonade on you, give it Death Touch, and you're going to draw like your whole deck and then die. Probably not a great idea, but there might be some real subtle uses for this that I'm not thinking of. I mean, we don't even have all the creatures yet, and we don't know all the Orzhov cards, so who knows, this could be good. Honestly, just that bottom ability, I'm seeing a $10 card already. Maybe not inside of standard, but just that's crazy. Giving all tokens lifelink is completely mental. Next up, an absolute ass quality cell phone shot, probably of Wilderness Reclamation. Call me crazy, Wizards, but maybe if somebody, you're gonna honor them, oh boy, and you give them a spoiler, what a great, amazing honor from Wizards, yay, and then they just take a cell phone shot and that's what shows up on the internet. Maybe don't send them another one. I mean, if I was the card designer or the artwork designer, I'd find that a bit disrespectful and lazy. So anyway, this blurry garbage says, Wilderness Reclamation, it costs 4 enchantment at the beginning of your end step, untap all lands you control. Holy crap. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, anybody? I mean, yeah, I know this costs 4, and it should, but this is crazy. This is completely insane. This with Simic and all of their, activated abilities would just be completely bonkers out of control. Now this with Azorius, you could get the whole addendum thing by casting something during your main phase, and then, you got all your mana back. I hate this card already. It's just going to enable a bunch of counterspells. That's all it is. It's going to give Simic automatic counterspells and automatic, during your end step, uses of activated abilities on literally anything in the entire deck. This is just fundamentally changing how Magic works at a basic level. When you tap a land, it is gone for the next turn. You can't just let them untap all of them. I just don't like this. I don't like anything about this. Whether it goes into every deck or no decks, I don't care. I just don't like cards like this, and probably a lot of you are right there with me. So that sucks, but the good news is that's the last of the spoilers for now. So that took a while, but there's a lot to process, a lot to look at. I think we're seeing some pretty tasty cards for Modern and Commander, so this might be a pretty particularly expensive set. So that's good, because I ordered some. So anyway, hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss the rest of the spoiler videos. I'm sure we're going to get more as the week goes on. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Oh, and also, Chapter 3 live on Desolator Gaming, my second channel. Chapter 3 of the Ravnica storyline. Go check it out.